NFC Championship time. Sorry, Kristen. NFC Championship time. 49ers at the Rams. Even though the 49ers have beaten the Rams 6 straight times, the Rams, the home team until they come out of the tunnel and see all the red jerseys, are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46.5. 56% of the spread money is on the Los Angeles Rams. Let's break this one down, and let's begin with 49ers on offense, Rams on defense. We saw it in the Monday night game when the 49ers steamrolled the Rams all game long. We saw it after the 49ers fell behind 17-0. They still kept running, and they ran their way right back into the game until Jimmy G had to throw. Jimmy G had a dry day. Jimmy G had a moment
he
or two.
Well. Yeah.
So what do you expect with Sean McVay knowing they're going to try to establish a run, screw him over with a run? One of the first things, as you say, Kyle Shanahan looks for when he's game planning. What do you think happens when the 49ers have the ball?
Well, I mean, I'm just a little big picture thing here, just a little bit first. As a football team, you look at it, and I know a lot of people go, well, man, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row in a season. And I get it. It is. Of course it is. I mean, we saw the Saints not do that to the Bucs last year with Tom Brady. But I feel like, and I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, when you beat a team twice, you're in the team's head that lost twice. They're going to go, damn it, what is it about this team that we can't overcome them, let alone at 6 times? That's where there's an element of real great intrigue here. I think about my dad's Super Bowl 21 team. They had to play the Washington football team in the NFC Championship game for a 3rd time. They beat them. I think about like the Titans and the Jaguars, right? Jaguars were 14-2, the number 1 seed. Their 2 losses during the regular season were the Titans. Oh, crap. Here they come in the AFC Championship game. Lose again. There is something to that where we talk about it. It's a matchup league. So I find that part of it really interesting. Now, with the 49ers offense and Rams defense, I think it's simple here. First off, I think the Rams have some things to look at as far as what the Packers did last week in that game to slow down the 49ers run attack. And I think the base thing that I would take away from it, without being too in the weeds here or football X's and O's, is they sold out to stop the run. They sold out. And to me, that's where the Rams got to do in this one. It's got to be 5-man fronts and 7 guys at the line of scrimmage almost every play. I think this is a game where you're crazy as the Rams if you're like trying to take a little bit away of everything. You got to go all in to stop Deebo Samuel run game, Elijah Mitchell run game, Shanahan run game, and Aaron, I got to see Jimmy Garoppolo in the pass game beat us. I got to see it to believe it. I don't think that can happen. I got to see it. That's what I would do if I'm on the Rams defensive side of the ball. The Rams, I will say, have we gone down the stretch, they will play man-to-man more. They have been matching Jalen Ramsey up with the best receiver a whole lot more. I expect to see that on Sunday. Again, if I'm them, Jalen Ramsey, meet Deebo Samuel. You're going to be attached to his hip all game long, so we can do everything else with these other guys to take away all the other Shanahan creativity and tricks he has. So that would be the thing I look at more than not. But, again, I know I'm not breaking news here, but I do think it's a level up here where, hey, we've always talked about the Rams, the way to beat them is, big offensive line, run right at them. They're talented. They got pride. They're going to be pissed off. They certainly are. And Shanahan's so creative in the run game. But this is one where I go even extra that you almost got to roll the dice and take a few chances in the run game and go, no way, we're not going to let that happen. And, okay, we're a little compromised in coverages, but we got to take a chance somewhere, and we'll take a chance that Jimmy G won't pull through.
Hey, and I think that even if he does, right, you still have to set it up where you're going to force Jimmy G to beat you because you have a quarterback who just proved on Sunday he can make the big throw in the big spot. Jimmy G has it. And I talked earlier about how the Bengals need to keep swinging and go down doing what they've done because they're going to be back next year and they don't want to be timid now. There's a little wrinkle to this. If you're Sean McVay and you're like, okay, what are we really going to try to do here? Hey, you know what? If Jimmy Garoppolo ends up pulling a shamrock out of his ass, or since he's Italian, doing this the right way, getting this working the right way, you know what? Great. They go ahead and beat us and get to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Great, because then they got chaos next year at their quarterback position. They got, you know what I mean? Yeah, hey, it carries over to next year.
Yeah.
They're gonna be all up, pardon me, about what they're going to do at quarterback if they
Right.
beat us. So we're going to force him to beat us. And if he can't, we go to the Super Bowl. And if by some reason he does, they got a mess on their hands that may knock them wobbly going into 2022.
Yeah, and I mean, we know. I mean, this is Jimmy G. It's shaky, period. You know, made a huge mistake last week in the red zone. You know, the first time around in the Rams game, or this, you know, the second game, the Week 18 matchup, he threw 2 interceptions in that football game too. Was close to throwing another 1 or 2 added on top of that. So that's where, you know, it's going to be interesting there as far as that. And then also, too, even with that, the Rams were up 24-17, and the big pass on the right sideline to Deebo Samuel, it was Jalen Ramsey's fault. He messed it up. He kind of got caught up with an underneath guy, thinking Jimmy Garoppolo was going to throw a short route to George Kittle, who was covered by somebody else, but he thought, okay, he's definitely going to go there, and he let Deebo Samuel open down the sideline. You know, I don't think Jalen Ramsey's going to make those mistakes. I don't. Here's another thing, Mike, too, to where, you know, I do think the Rams sell out the run, do that, and then when you do get in pass situations, the one thing that jumped out to me watching the Niners last week or the last few weeks, and then watching what the Rams did against the Bucs offensive line, they did not expose the right side of the O-line for the 49ers enough in their both regular season matchups, and especially Week 18. And what I mean is number 60 and 66 on the right side of the 49ers are less than. It's Brunskill and it's Kelly, right? I think it's Kelly. I got so many damn names in my head I can't remember sometimes. They're both, that's the right guard and the right tackle. The Rams let them off the hook, in my opinion, in the first matchup. They got into too many defensive alignments that allowed Shanahan to send the protection that way and get extra guys to help them out. Last week, I saw them do some cool things up front where they wanted to get Tristan Wirfs' replacement, right? 72 Wells in some tough positions, and they did some creative things to Brady and the protection to where they couldn't help out if Aaron Donald or Von Miller were over there matched up. They put a guy, you know, stand-up linebacker on the other side and Aaron Donald over here. It's Compton, excuse me, not Kelly. I'm sorry about that. That's the right tackle. But they put, you know, a look like that, you know, to where now, oh, wait, Brady can't send the line over there to help out the right tackle in the mismatch that he has against Miller or Floyd or Aaron Donald. That, to me, was another area that the Rams dropped the ball in the Week 18 matchup. I would think they're going to try to expose that this week, especially because last week the Packers did a pretty good job of it, and Rashawn Gary, he ran rough shop, did whatever the he wanted on the right side against those guys over there. And that, to me, would be another angle to look for in this one.
I had a flashback to our early days of working together where you weren't familiar with the term run roughshod. I remember that now.
Yeah.
You thought it was run rough shop, or I can't remember.
Rough shop, yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, let's flip it over now. Rams with the ball. Cam Akers getting back to form.
Right.
Matthew Stafford exceeding expectations. OBJ becoming a very potent number 2 to Cooper Kupp. Tyler Higbee doing Tyler Higbee things when needed. What do you think the Rams do offensively against the San Francisco defense?
That's where it's like a crazy game. You know, like I was saying, like you favor the team that won 2 times in a row, but the team they beat 2 times in a row, of course, had a lot of new moving parts that even acquired during the season. And they were, you know, on this trend even when they lost to the 49ers, and they've continued on that trend to where you go, man, that was only 3 weeks ago, but I go, the Rams have gotten better in 3 weeks. They have, on both sides of the ball. And I think they've realized what they want to do, who they are, and that's where it's a little different there too. Hey, number one thing they got to do is, of course, the 49ers D-line. It's so phenomenal. You know, they like the Rams. I mean, they can get there with their front four. They can be really tough on your offensive line. They gave issues in that matchup, in both matchups. They really did. Stafford couldn't hold the ball too long. So I look at that, of course, to be one thing. The other thing that jumped out to me a little bit, and I saw it last week, and then I saw it in Week 18, just like I did a little bit, you know, on the other side here ago, where I went. Last week, the thing that jumped out to me, the Bucs overplayed the Rams' run game. I don't know what they were doing. They played the Rams early on in the game like they were playing like the 1992 Cowboys with that offensive line and Emmitt Smith, where you're like, what are you doing? It's the Rams. It's the 25th run defense offense in football. Why are you got 9 guys at the line of scrimmage like you're worried about them pounding the ball? And usually McVay and company are the kind of offense that go, hey, we know how to run our plays against every look. Let's just run it, no matter what. Oh, they got us outnumbered by 1. We know what to do, and we'll leave the guy farthest away so he can't make the tackle. But last week they said, nah, you want to play those, check, check, check. I'm going to get to a play-action pass, or we're going to pass. It's just too good to be true. And they didn't do that in the Week 18 matchup. There are so many plays where I go back and look and go, man, the 49ers, they're playing run. All they're worried about is run here. And they still ran the ball. And they got nothing. But there is this. Rams O-line's been better. And you said it. Cam Akers, he didn't really have a part in that second football game in Week 18. He had just got back in the lineup. He's a different guy. He's a different guy. He's a difference maker. He's the best runner on their team for sure. In fact, he's the best tailback in this game, period. He's better than Elijah Mitchell. So there is that aspect to worry about this time around, I think, with the 49ers. And I think the Rams have found their way as far as, like you said many times, how to use Odell Beckham Jr. and use him off of Cooper Kupp. I think that's grown over the last few weeks, too. That's where it makes it very interesting. But it's tough because the 49ers defense, in my opinion, is the best defense left in this playoff. They're amazing at playing zones and passing people off and kind of tweaking their coverage, and that's where it's a tough to call because both these defenses are freaky, and the 49ers, they can give the Rams some issues, that's for sure.
Okay, so we've reached the point where we must make a selection, and as I did before, I sent my pick in advance to Pete. No temptation to change, because I would have been tempted. Once I saw your Bengals cover, I would have been tempted to make it maybe, 38-32 Chiefs with the Bengals with a 1-point cover. So I'm very curious to see who you're going to pick to win, and more importantly, especially if you pick the Rams to win, whether it's within this 3.5-point bubble.
So,
you are up.
Did I give myself away? Like, do you have a feel for who you think I'm going to pick here by any chance?
Last week I thought you were taking the Packers, so I don't know. I don't know.
Good. I like to keep the audience dangling for sure.
Better than dangling your man junk.
That's right. We don't want that. That's an unnecessary thing. That's a penalty. Free 15 yards. But
that would definitely be a penalty. Dangling your man junk in the opponent's face would definitely be a penalty and a violation of a city ordinance. Watch out for Mike Curtis and or Stephon Diggs.
Seriously. All right. I feel like 99 out of 100 times I would pick the team that won 2 in a row because I think there's a real advantage there. This is a tough one. It's a coin flip, but I'm going to go with the Rams. I do. I just think at home, 6-game win streak. We heard McVay earlier today. Is Kyle Shanahan in your head? The question pissed him off. It pisses him off. Of course it does. That's what he's thinking about all the time right now. Man, the whole NFL world thinks Shanahan owns me. I started out 3-1 against the guy, and now he's won 6 in a row, and I'm 3-7 against the damn guy. I just think between that and the upward trend of what we've seen from the Rams, Matthew Stafford, the pressure of the playoffs, and listen, I trust Stafford more than I do Garoppolo. I think with all those things together and a little bit of like last year's thought of like the Bucs who were just getting better and primed at the right time, I look the Rams like that too. I think they go 24-21 and pull off the win at home.
Pete has the evidence. I picked the exact same score.
Wow.
24-21.
And you picked the Rams,
24-21. Rams 24-21.
Damn.
Yep.
On second thought, I think I made a typo. It's 24-20.
I have clinched, ladies and gentlemen. I have clinched at least a tie. It's all going to come down to now. If the Chiefs cover, it's over. If the Bengals cover, you still have a chance to catch me in the Super Bowl. And we'll do this again. I'll send my score in advance to Pete, so I can't be tempted to mirror whatever you do. But 24-21, I feel the exact same way. And you know what? I just have a weird feeling that McVay wants to go all out, win the Super Bowl, and pull the Dick Vermeil combo. Dick Vermeil retired once because he was burned out young, and then he retired again after he won the Super Bowl. I could see the Rams winning it all and Sean McVay saying, I'm out. I'm going to go chase the money from one of the networks. I'm going to get paid more and not have this constant stress and strain and worry if he can win it all. I think that's one of the reasons why they've been going all in. I think you'd like to win one and exit stage left or stage right or whichever way you exit.
I don't disagree with you there. I do think that's on the radar for McVay. I do. I think that's a real thing. I don't doubt you there. Man, I just wonder if he'd do it right now because he's got a quarterback finally here. They got something where you go, damn, you could be here for a year or 2 or 3. Do you really want to leave and go broadcast games? That sort of be tough. But I hear you. I would think that's on his radar. He's a psycho, and he burns himself out, and that's usually what happens to those type of guys.
That's right. And you know what? You could go do it for a while, and then you could come back at some point down the road. But at least you walk away with a freshly minted Lombardi trophy under your arm, which I think, obviously, they'd all like to do. But for him particularly, if he could pull it off, then maybe he takes a break.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.